Spinothalamic tract. It is an ascending tract. The spinothalamic tract is of two types. Number one, lateral spinothalamic tract concerned with pain and thermal sensation. Number two, ventral spinothalamic tract concerned with crude touch and pressure. Lateral spinothalamic tract or pain and temperature pathway. It has three order of neurons. First order neuron. The cell bodies of the first order sensory neurons are present in the dorsal root ganglion. The free nerve endings present in the skin receives the pain and temperature sensations, passes through the dorsal root of the spinal nerve and enters the spinal cord. In the spinal cord, it ascends or descends one or two segments as dorsolateral tract of leisure and relays in the posterior horn cells present in the posterior gray column. Posterior horn cells including substantia gelatinosa. So this is the first order neuron. I'll put it in simple words. So this is the dorsal root ganglion. The neurons present in the dorsal root ganglion is known as pseudo unipolar neurons. It has a peripheral process and a central process. The peripheral process, okay, this is the pain and temperature sensations from the skin and passes through the dorsal root of the spinal nerve. This is the ventral root, this is the dorsal root. So passes through the dorsal root of the spinal nerve and it enters the posterior gray horn where it relates in the posterior horn cells. That is the gray cells, sensory cells present in the posterior gray horn. Okay. It not only relates there, okay, it ascends one or two segments above or descends one or two segments below as dorsal lateral tract of leisure. Dorsolateral tract of leisure. Okay. So what is substantia gelatinosa? It is a substance present near the posterior end of the posterior gray column. So there is substance present here. So this is about the first order neuron. The second order neuron. The second order sensory neurons arise from the posterior horn cells, crosses obliquely the anterior gray and white commissure and reaches the lateral white column and ascends on the contralateral white column as lateral spinothalamic tract. In the medulla oblongata. So in the medulla oblongata, the spinothalamic tract lies between the inferior olivary nucleus and the nucleus of spinal tract of trigeminal nerve. So it ascends between the spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve and the inferior olivary nucleus. So this is the spinothalamic tract. Okay. In the medulla oblongata, that is in the upper part of the medulla oblongata, it joins with the anterior spinothalamic tract and spinotectal tract to form spinal lemniscus. In the pons, it ascends or it lies in the posterior part of the pons. So this is the posterior part of the pons, this is the anterior part of the pons. So you can see the spinal lemniscus here. So it ascends in the posterior part of the pons. In the midbrain, it lies in the tegmentum of the midbrain, where it lies lateral to the medial lemniscus. So this is the tectum and this area is the tegmentum. This is the crus cerebri and this is the substantia nigra. Okay, so this is the medial lemniscus, this is the spinal lemniscus, this is the trigeminal lemniscus. Okay. So in the midbrain, it lies in the tegmentum lateral to the medial lemniscus. It ends by synapsing in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of thalamus. Ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus. 90% of the fibers ends by relaying in the thalamus. So this is the second order neuron. Third order neuron. The axons of the third order sensory neurons arise from the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus and it passes through the internal capsule, corona radiata, this area, corona radiata, and finally it reaches the primary somesthetic area and secondary somesthetic area. It reaches the somesthetic area which is present in the postcentral gyrus of cerebral cortex. So this is the origin, course and termination of the lateral spinothalamic tract.